Everyone wants to be a Viking king. You've seen the movies. You imagine the glory. You imagine sitting in the great hall, a golden goblet in one hand, a beautiful spouse in the other, while 1,000 warriors chant your name. You think it's all raids, riches, and respect. But that's the lie. That is the story the bards tell to get free drinks. Let me walk you through the miserable timeline of your rise to power. You aren't born into royalty. There are no silk sheets for you. You are born on a floor made of packed earth and straw that smells like wet dog and wood smoke. You are a peasant's son in a village. Your childhood isn't play, it's labor. By age 6, your hands are already calloused. You spend your days ankle-deep in freezing mud, pulling turnips that refuse to grow, or hauling firewood just to keep the frostbite away. The only escape you have is the campfire. At night, the village elders tell stories, sagas of Ragnar Lodbrok, of dragons, of heavy gold arm rings. You listen with wide eyes, imagining a world where your stomach isn't always growling. You dream of the sea. You dream of the axe. But dreams don't fill your belly. Then comes adolescence. You're 14 now, lanky and awkward, just starting to grow a patchy beard. Your father and mother take the small fishing boat out, just a routine trip to trade dried fish for salt down the coast. But the North Sea is cruel. A storm hits. Not a glorious tempest, just a gray, ugly squall that smashes their boat against the rocks like a toy. They don't come home. There is no time to mourn. There is no therapist to talk to. There is only the sudden, crushing weight of survival. You look down at your little sister. She's only 8. She's looking at you, terrified, waiting for you to fix it. You realize with a sinking heart, I am the adult now. For 2 years, you destroy yourself for her. You starve so she can eat the last of the salted meat. You shiver under a thin blanket so she can have the furs. You are a ghost in your own village, working double shifts in the fields, exhausted, purely fueled by the need to keep her alive. But the winter of 870 is brutal. A sickness sweeps through the valley. It starts with a cough, then a fever. You spend 3 nights awake, wiping the sweat from her forehead, praying to Odin, to Freya, to anyone who will listen. They don't answer. She dies in her sleep. The silence in the hut the next morning is louder than any scream. You bury her next to your parents, and as the dirt hits the grave, something inside you snaps. The sadness evaporates, replaced by a cold, hard block of ice. You are 16. You are entirely alone, and you have absolutely nothing left to lose. You stop farming. You start killing. Every day, from dawn till dusk, you train. You don't have a teacher. You just have rage. You swing a heavy iron axe at trees until your palms bleed. Then you wrap them in rags and swing again. You turn your body into a weapon because it's the only thing you own. When the Jarl calls for a summer raid, you volunteer. You don't care about the gold. You just want to hit something. The raid is a disaster. It's chaotic, muddy, and screaming. You aren't a hero. You're terrified. But when an enemy spearman corners your Jarl, instinct takes over. You tackle the man. You drive your axe into his chest. The Jarl sees it. He wipes blood from his eyes, looks at you, and nods. You've just bought a ticket to the inner circle. You don't become a leader overnight. For the next 5 years, you live in the shield wall. You aren't just a raider anymore. You are the Jarl's shadow. You sail to England. You sail to Francia. You see the stone walls of great monasteries and burn them down for silver. You learn that glory is mostly just sweat and adrenaline. You and the Jarl become like brothers. You save his life in a swamp in Wessex. He saves yours from a spear in Northumbria. You start to believe the lie. You start to think you're invincible. You have gold in your arm rings and a reputation that makes men step aside when you walk through the village. But luck is a finite resource, and yours is about to run out. It happens on a meaningless raid against a rival clan just 2 valleys over. A frightened boy swings a rusty sword and catches the Jarl in the thigh. It looks like nothing, a flesh wound. You wrap it up and keep marching. But 3 days later, the smell hits you, the rot. The fever takes him fast. The man who led armies, who laughed in the face of storms, is reduced to a shivering skeleton in a dark tent. He grabs your arm with a clammy hand. He doesn't give you a profound speech. He just gasps, "Don't let them take it." And then he's gone. You step out of the tent. The men are waiting. They see the blood on your hands. They see the empty look in your eyes. They don't vote. They just kneel. You are Jarl now, but you don't feel powerful. You feel the target painted on your back getting bigger. Being Jarl isn't enough. Your neighbors smell weakness. Specifically, Jarl Borg from the west. He thinks you're a usurper. He raids your lands, burns your farms, so you go to war. Not for glory, but survival. It takes 2 bloody years to crush him. You burn his hall to the ground, and amidst the ashes, you find her, his daughter. She isn't cowering. She's standing tall, holding a dagger, ready to die before she kneels. She is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Sharp, fierce, dangerous. You marry her to unite the clans. It sounds like a fairy tale, doesn't it? It isn't. She marries you because she has to. You marry her because you need her father's warriors. In the bedroom, there is no romance. There is only duty. She gives you sons. Strong sons. But sometimes, when she thinks you're asleep, you see her looking at you. Not with love, but with calculation. She is a wolf. Just like you. The years blur into a gray haze of violence. 1 Jarl down, 3 more to go. You spend your 30s and 40s in the saddle. Your knees ache when it rains. Your hearing is going from the sound of steel on shields. You conquer the valleys. You unite the coast. You force the petty lords to bend the knee. Finally, they place the iron circlet on your brow. You are now king. The feast is massive. Bards sing songs about your destiny, but you know the truth. You remember the famine. You remember your sister. You remember the Jarl dying of rot. And now, here you are. The end of the road. You sit on the throne of the north. You have the power to order 500 ships to sail, but look at your table. Your friends from the early days? Dead, all of them. Your wife? She runs the household with an iron fist, but she hasn't spoken a warm word to you in a decade. And your sons? You see them whispering in the corners. You see them counting the days until the old man finally dies so they can carve up your kingdom. You realize with a terrifying clarity that you cannot trust a single soul in this room. You won the game. You are the Viking king. And as the fire dies down in the great hall, you realize you would give it all back just to be that little boy again, freezing in the mud, but safe in your mother's arms.